surprise. I'd rather want you to just
Welcome back to another warm-up show with hockey coach, goal coach, FRENCHY, directly for the beautiful country of Thailand on the great Monday night, March 20, 2023. And we have to go all the way to the Toronto downtown, somewhere, somehow. The co-host of the warm-up show, Mr. ENORTAP.
Hello, Coach. Hello, Hockey Nation. On this
And the
wonderful
house.
Monday, with a number of games on the plan. Today.
We're what, 3 weeks now?
5 games.
We are 3 weeks before the end of this season already, Mr. ENORTAP. The time flying. Most of the team are about 12 games to remaining for the rest of the year. So, again, still have to race on both conference for the spot number 7, 8, maybe more 8. Barely be hanging there. Would be interesting what's happening. But we have a couple of things to talk about. The Montreal Canadiens, a little bit what happened today at the practice. We're going to talk about the fun news around the league at the weekend, what happening, something go down, something go up, and definitely going to talk about fun news and the NHL, new signature, and a couple of new injuries over the weekend. So we have a lot of great content stock. Of course, the leaderboard, we're going to talk about this. We have a jail people going to on the jail because they didn't do well Friday. And then finally, we're going to talk about a little bit what's going to happening during the week around the NHL, a little bit preview of all the schedule around the league and fantasy if you're still alive and your fantasy hockey. So great show in front of us, but before we start, let's go further ado to welcome everybody in the chat. Welcome back at the beginning, Mr. ENORTAP. You ready to rock and roll? Rick Bengal is in the house.
Welcome, Rick.
Welcome back, Mr. Rick. You talk about how much on watching a game from the big seat in the house. Yann Giannet is in the house. Mr. ENORTAP.
Welcome, Yann.
Captain Cook. Captain Cook is in the house, Mr. ENORTAP.
How's it going, Ryan?
Super Chat.
Are you ready, Mr. ENORTAP? We got a 220 super chat of real deal trim.
Let's do it.
Super chat, Rivers, chop. What a great way to start the week, Mr. ENORTAP. We knocked the door and we got a super chat, our friend, Real Deal Prim. Thanks so much for your super chat, Mr. Deal. And glad to having you support the channel, Mr. ENORTAP. At 5 o'clock a.m. on Monday morning. It's not easy. You have to be a little bit shaky, but getting there, Mr. ENORTAP. It's okay.
All the limbs, yeah.
What about Joseph Laham, Mr. ENORTAP is in the house. Joseph Laham back in the house after W for the Devils.
Devils are looking good.
Melissa Zabra, Mr. ENORTAP, back in the house for Detroit.
What's up? Welcome.
Yamo Virtanen, Mr. ENORTAP from Finland is in the house.
Moi, Yarmo.
Moi. And then we have Gary Cournoyer, the Roadrunner, back in the house, Mr. ENORTAP.
How's it going, Gary?
Ronwood Kings, good afternoon. Ronwood Kings from Utah.
Welcome.
We forget the Captain Cook, Mr. ENORTAP. Welcome back, Mr. Captain Cook.
Welcome, Captain Kirk.
Luciano, Graziano, Mr. TABERNAK de door, le modérateur.
How's it going, Luciano?
Danny T, le capitaine et modérateur, knock the door.
Hey, Capitano. How are you?
The other Devon Levi remind me of Carey Price. You will see about that one there. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see what happening there with Devon Levi. Sign contract during the weekend. He's got his Andre level contract. My workout chop. Yes, yeah, more. It's a little bit that way. The morning like that. They will. White Devils at Tampa Bay play many games together. That's a really strange schedule for them. Sometimes it's the base. I will say to you, it's just some later the schedule of the
scheduling, yeah.
And unfortunately, and they just go that way. I think you have another. The Rangers and Pittsburgh have a couple of games last week too. ENORTAP. And I just tried to figure out something else where everybody look like everybody is in the house, Mr. ENORTAP. I'm losing my voice. I don't know what's going on. But we want to thank everybody to join us. Don't forget, guys, to click on the likes. That'd be great. Mr. ENORTAP, the Monday we just wrap up what happened during the weekend. So let's start with what pay you a little bit more your attention during the weekend, Mr. ENORTAP.
Yeah, it's all about the race, of course, Coach. I think we've pretty much narrowed it down to 9 teams on both conferences vying for the 8 spots. In the West, it looks like it's going to come down to Winnipeg versus Calgary, who gets in. And in the East, it looks like it's, Pittsburgh, possibly. I guess you can throw the Islanders there. Both are in right now. But, of course, Florida's really made a good surge. And they're realistically probably the only team in the East that can make a legitimate run for one more spot. I'm not sure if Florida has any head-to-head games against Pittsburgh. I think I'm trying to remember
this
now.
Week, Florida played Detroit, Philadelphia, Toronto, and Rangers, Mr. ENORTAP.
Yeah, if you look at their strength of schedule, there isn't much to choose here. Like both the Islanders, Pittsburgh.
The schedule is easier for Florida.
And yeah, for Florida, it's easier than the other two, but it's not by a lot, though. I have them ranked within 2 spots of each other. But you're right, Florida has the easiest one of the 3, but they have some ground to make up for. So it'll come down to some key games on the weekend. We saw some movement, like I think the Winnipeg win over Nashville kind of on Saturday night, kind of eliminated Nashville from the equation. We saw the Edmonton Oilers defeat Seattle, so that is feeding into Edmonton just priming up for the playoffs. The Pittsburgh and Ranger game, the Rangers are starting to put it together. Back-to-back shutouts on the weekend. The Islanders won their game, so that helped. Calgary picked up a point against Dallas, even though it went to overtime. And then on Sunday, we saw, of course, the big game, I think, was the St. Louis win over Winnipeg that kind of, left the door open for Calgary, because I think if Winnipeg could have won that game, it would have pretty much solidified their spot. And Nashville, again, just confirmed that they're out of it with a easy 7-0 defeat at the hands of the Rangers. So I think those were the 3 or 4 main games that affected the standings there. But I think it's going to go down to the wire, really, especially in the East, and possibly even Calgary. We'll wait and see. It's exciting, though.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. We want to welcome back John Gregor, back in the house with Rick Kane, back in the house, Mr. ENORTAP. Claude Richard
welcome,
from
guys.
Ottawa, all 3 welcome in the house.
Welcome, everyone.
if you think about this during the weekend with some kind of fun result, Florida win, and then you have Buffalo struggle, Washington last 2 games, Pittsburgh last 3 games, Ottawa are 1 and I don't know 7, 6 and 2, whatever they are. They almost eliminate themselves out of the race. It's still possible, but their chance to make it will be very hard. They have to go like a 9 and 2 and 9 and 3 in the last 12 game. So that gave a chance to Florida to get there. I think Nashville, mathematically, they are good. They still have 3 games behind Winnipeg. The keeper playing the problem, they have to win those games. And for them, it's not tough. That's what the biggest problem.
And they're condensed. And they're condensed games, right? Like, I know they're games in hand, but that means you're playing more often. You can't always go with Saros and net because I think they have 2 back-to-backs. So they're going to have to split the goaltending there.
This week they have Buffalo, Seattle, and Toronto.
Right.
So would be really interesting what's happening about that for sure. Look, I think the weekend it was really the New York Rangers 13-0 missing a tap for the 2 games. Yeah. They gave 0 goal, and then Boston did the same thing. Colorado won 5 straight, and Arizona are on the race of 4 straight overall for that team. The biggest consist performing in the Pacific, 8-2-0 the last 10 game. Florida make a big statement over there. So again, on the good side, on the bad side, you had Sventing and the Kings doing very well, by the way. Whatever they tie the game, but they don't have a really good. And the Pacific division, we said it's not a division, but the last 20 game, maybe 15 game or 10 game, everybody win. They are all right now. I think the Seattle are 5-4-1 over 500, but they are the worst of the 4 team. Just give you how difficult it is right now on the Pacific division. Everybody winning there. Edmonton's winning now. The Los Angeles Kings winning, and the Vegas winning there. So, and then Colorado jumping in the race for the first place with Dallas and Minnesota on the Central Division. And the Devils right now are fighting to get maybe past the Canada Hurricane to finish first in Metropolitan Division. Only the Atlantic Division is pretty much settled down for the 1, 2, and 3. Just Florida can make the playoff.
A long time it's been settled, that division.
Yep. We want to welcome Chania from Thailand. Welcome back, Chania. Hopefully you're doing well.
Hello.
Glad to have you aboard. But we have the 3-star of the weeks, Mr. ENORTAP. Let's start in with that one over there. Mike Zibanejad, 5-4-9 point and 4 game. Kel McCarr, same situation, but 1 goal, 8 assists, 9 point and 4 game. And then Jeremy Swimmen, the goaltender of the Boston Bruins, 2-0-0 and 2 shutout for Mr. Swimmen, where the Boston all go back now. They are back like they were a couple of weeks ago, Mr. ENORTAP. Very good performance for the 3-star of the week in NHL. So that's great to hear that. Don't forget, guys, to click on the like if you don't mind. That'd be awesome. Urshar Brett hit the 30-goal mark on the same night. That's a 2-player have a really good year for the New Jersey Devils. Plus, Jack Hughes. The team right now are prepared for the playoff, Mr. ENORTAP. Will be interesting to watching them. It's still, for me, it's all about a goaltender for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
A little bit happening today at the Bell Center. You have a long practice again for the second time in the last couple of days. Martin said we consider to make a longer practice for the Montreal Canadiens, really on the basic, on the defensive zone coverage, everything like that. And it was a team picture. They had to do a second team picture, Mr. ENORTAP. And they have almost no room for the picture because they have too many players. The injuries, plus the one they are there. So it was like, a bigger picture. UP part of this picture, but happening. I want to talk about the Montreal Canadiens. When you want to evaluate a schedule before the season starts, you always look your schedule by tranche of 10 games. Every 10 games, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 80. And then we just complete the game number 70. And this is the worst tranche of 10 game for the Montreal Canadiens this season. 1-7-2. They never have lower at this. We like, as a coach, to get about 12 points every game, at least a minimum of 12 points per tranche or 10 game. And unfortunately, they fall apart with only 4. And this was the reason why the goal again average, Mr. ENORTAP, 4.70 per game the last 10 game. The shot on the net, 36.2. That's too much. And then the power
Too
play is
much.
only at 18.2 power plays for the last 10 games. So that's where you reevaluate the performance of the team. Of course, you can go with all the injuries, everything like that, but it's still bad. But the good news, Mr. Tap, Kirby Doc was flying on the ice today with Jake Evan and Brennan Gallagher. All three are back with a no contact jersey, the navy, blue navy. But all three was skating very well, and we don't know. 12 games to go. I'm not sure if one of them, maybe two or maybe three, will going to play with Montreal the next couple of days, for the rest of the season. Will be interesting to follow up. I think that will be important because I think the Laval Rocket battled right now for a spot in the playoff, and they need help. They cannot score anymore. They only scored 2 goals per game. At least the last game they won 4-1. They would need help. So it'd be good maybe to add 1 or 2 players for that list of players I just mentioned to you to join the Montreal Canadiens, who gave a chance to return, like Anthony Richard right now, the best scorer for the Laval Rocket this year. Is on the emergency call up. So that would be really something to check about that, Mr. Notap.
Yeah, that would go a long way in helping Laval for sure. And if the players can come back, 1 or 2 of them, even just to help out, that's, as long as they're 100% healthy, that's my only concern. I don't want to see them rush any injury back. We should be good.
Yeah, absolutely about that. We talk about again, Coley is out with an injury, was not on the ice today. Again, are they going to shut him down or not? We don't know. We didn't hear anything from what I heard this morning or last night about the situation with Caden Coley. And the preview week for the Montreal Canadiens, they're going to be back tomorrow night on the ice for the Montreal. They're going to be, again, the Tampa Bay Lightning, a back-to-back game. Then Thursday, the Boston Bruins. And then the game of the year. Well, not the game of the year, but the game they play against Blue Jacket Saturday night, Mr. Tap. Back-to-back game for the Jacket. This is not good news for Montreal. They have 12 games to go. 12 of the 6 of the 12 games are, again, the playoff team. 6 of them are not. Their schedule is really better for, like, we talk always their schedule will be bad. They go through this one. They have 2 more games to go. And then after that, the last 10 games of the year is going to be only 4 teams all in the playoff. I'm talking about Carolina, Toronto. And then the rest is Philadelphia, Columbus, Florida, 1 more game. And there's a chance to get a couple of W to stay in the spot at 28 and to get a chance. People asking me, do you think Anaheim can pass them? I don't think so. I think Anaheim a very tough schedule compared to Montreal. They play 12 games, the last 12 games. 7 of them is, again, they are already in the playoff. But they don't have a low light game like Chicago or Columbus. It's more about Calgary twice. The team are not in the playoffs, so I think it will be really hard for them, for what I believe.
Yeah, it might be. I mean, Montreal is, if you look at their schedule, it is a little bit harder than Anaheim's, though. So we'll see. I mean, I think they have 13 games left. Montreal has 12, so they also have that game in hand, which could go a long way in deciding this. But yeah, I don't anticipate Montreal moving either up or down from where they are right now.
Yeah, absolutely about that. So it will be interesting to see what's happening with Montreal Canadiens. Like I mentioned, 3 games for them in front of them, and there are 3 of them at home this week, Mr. Tap. A couple of news around the league. We can mention the NHL news. The Nashville announced that Roman Ozzy is day-to-day right now. This is a really blow for the Nashville Predator. Day-to-day for them. It's going to be, really, they cannot miss a player like him if they want to try to make the playoff. This is really not good. They're already missing a Rand McDonald for the last couple of games, so that's not good. Cal McCall will be out tonight, Mr. Tap. Game, day-to-day only for him. So they're going to maybe let him some rest. For them, I think they play Chicago, if I can record it. So it's going to be San Jose. So it'll be easy for them. Bad news for the Pittsburgh Penguins. They battle for stay in the wild spot number 2. They lost now Patterson, the defenseman Marcus Patterson, for the long-term injury reserve. So it's another way we're going to follow with the Pittsburgh. They cannot lose many players. They lose already Bonino for the rest of the year with the Pittsburgh Penguins. Great weekend for the prospect. Jonas Offer, the goaltender, the St. Louis Blues, have a great performance. Again, the Winnipeg Jet. They shut down the Winnipeg Jet.
3-0.
And this was funny because it was a sharing shootout for the Goldies. Thomas Greiss came in the game for about 1 minute because the skate of the offer was not properly fixed. He had to go to the locker room. So Greiss be one in the game. He made maybe one save or two save. And one save. There you go. So that's happening. That's a great performance for the rookie offer goaltender. And then it was the debut of Simon Edvinson, the prospect for the Detroit Red Wings, the Giant 6'6", with the Detroit Red Wings on the weekend. Another great performance for him. You can see talented he is. He's going to bring a lot of great hockey for the future of the Detroit Red Wings beside Maurice Zeder in Detroit. So the future is very well in Detroit. Washington announced a possible John Carlson return before the end of the season. We know he have a really bad injury, a skull injury. Look like he's back with the lineup. Well, that's a good news. Finally, Ottawa Senator look like the price is going to be $925 million. Mr. Tap, you talk about one of the, not the worst, but one of the team where the team is not the best value in NHL to reach almost the $1 billion. That's just give you an idea. And the value of each team organization is pretty getting better and better in NHL if you sell that team, Mr. Tap. So very shocking a bit. They still have a couple of people who want to buy the team. They still high. It should be the next couple of weeks before we hear the team's going to be sold.
I heard Reynolds is he's been selling off some of his assets, so I wouldn't be surprised if he, in collaboration with some other, deep pockets, became the owners very soon.
Yeah, I'm sorry about this. We talk about the Fleur Panthers. The playoff already. They are already there on this race. Will be interesting how they're going to come back with the last couple of days. The game they have to go. Mr. Top, we start to show a little bit more about the winner of the bus last week. Good performance overall for some people. Of course, you're one of them. But we have a winner of Friday night, and he's not there today. We know we have a big surgery, hopefully the best for Jose Duarte, but he complete last week, Mr. Top, with a 4-0, a perfecto game Friday night. Congratulations. We have to send him and the boss alone, unfortunately, but better to anything like that. Mr. Jose Duarte, Mr. Top, let him go right there.
Congratulations.
Here we go. Congratulations for Mr. Jose Duarte. Mr. Natap, Monday, what is Monday? Monday is about the leaderboard. You know that already, Mr. Natap. So let's see what we got on the leaderboard for the week. And for all the information we need to get, I just try to get something else here, Mr. Natap. And we get right here. Here we go. The party bus leader, Peter August, is alone. He's got two more body bus following by you. Last week, Jose Duarte had 2 bus last week. Rick Kirk, the Captain Kirk, had 2 bus too. So you are the most bus, but again, Peter August at 25, following by ENORTAP et contre FRENCHY. I feel like I never go to bus, but look like I did pretty good.
Hey, you follow
I just
my
go
picks,
there when the people go there. I don't go, never go along the center. On digital time, Danny T is still dominate, 12 over Nick at 10. King of Gamer is on 9 with Jose Duarte. Jose Duarte is all in or is all out, Mr. Tap. Good channel at 9. And great performance at the bottom for ENORTAP, Yamo, and Coach Frenchy. All one that I think were one of the top 5 where they play all the games so far. And we never go there so far. Like we have a good year of this Mr. ENORTAP. So that's great to see that. But we have to go to the winning side of the stats. We got the winning leader, Coach Frenchy, at 444, followed by Yamo and Vinny. ENORTAP number 4. Vinny continues to stay in the race for the top 3. And then on the winning percentage, Peter August, what a great year he has with all this fun. Prediction is not easy. 670. This is the man of the men, followed by myself, Yamo, and ENORTAP, and Vinny. All this, and finally, the most point in the standing, Mr. Natap. Saint-Bénin, 489 versus Yamo at 482. A race between you and Vinny, Mr. Natap, at 480. We want to go with that. Jose, Ron, and Luciano, Chicago, and Danny T, and Peter August, the top 10 of the most points in the beginning of season, Mr. Natap. That gave us a little bit more information what's going on here, Mr. Natap, about everything like that. The real deal premise in the house, like I mentioned to you. So time to go for the 5 games. I'll give you a little bit more time to break tonight in Mr. Natap. We have nothing else here. Obviously, on the flip side, we said Jose is alone, but on the Danny Condigel tonight, we have to send a couple of players, a couple of people that we don't like to do that. But he did it again. Mr. Luciano, Chicago, Peter, Martin, and Ren Cook, the Captain Cook. I think it was 0-4, is it right?
Yes, 0-4, yeah.
0-4, right? So they are right there.
So, yeah.
Obviously for them. And it is what it is. At the end of the day, Mr. Natap, are you ready to rock and roll?
Let's
this?
do it.
Locking up.
Let's go.
Here we go. The good news is, but the bad news, you don't have a lot of food, but the food you get for the weekend, for tonight, they are fresh. So that's a good thing about that. You have no leftover. We always restart the food for the Monday, Mr. Natap. So everybody's going to get a good meal for the night when they're going to be there for the next 24 hours, Mr. Natap. So the good news about this. And thanks so much for everybody to be a part of the show tonight. Don't forget, guys, to click on the likes. And Mr. Natap, the first game of the night, if you don't mind. The Ottawa Senators versus the Pittsburgh Penguins. 2 teams did not do well the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, they've both, we've seen them both kind of fall a little bit. Tonight it looks like it's Sogart and confirmed Jari and net again. I think we know the situation with Pittsburgh. It's really pretty much comes down to the goaltending or lack of that they've had over the last couple of weeks. And Ottawa, it's kind of been up and down with Sogart. I think he's played some good games, but he's also, not been so great in a couple of other ones. And that's to be expected from a rookie goaltender. The Penguins, they've dropped 2 consecutive games in New York to the Rangers as they hold on to the final wild card spot right now in the Eastern Conference. Meanwhile, the Senators were making a strong push for a playoff spot since the All-Star break, but they've dropped 5 straight themselves and kind of really taken themselves out of a playoff picture altogether. Again, mathematically they're there, but realistically they're not gonna be contending. Ottawa's been playing, since the All-Star break, and it's true to form for the last 2 years prior to this. They always play some pretty good hockey after the All-Star break, and if they were only somehow find a way to put an entire year together consistently, I think you'd be looking at a playoff spot for Ottawa, but they haven't managed yet to do that. Like I said, they're currently on a 5-game losing streak. They've been dropped in the standings now, and like I said, pretty much out of contention for this year. I think this is one of those times where, from Pittsburgh's perspective, like they really have to keep throwing Jari out there because they need an experienced goaltender should they make the playoffs, and they need to try to get his confidence back up and give him as many reps as possible, games to play in. It's if you look at the last 10 games between these two, Pittsburgh has gone 6-2-2 against Ottawa. So that part of it speaks in favor of Pittsburgh in this game. But I don't know. Personally, I'm at a point now where I don't trust Pittsburgh, and I think Ottawa. They've had a few games where They could have won but didn't, and I think that they want to try to sort of build on something as the season comes to an end soon. So I'm going to take Ottawa to win this one by a score of 4-3.
4-3, Mr. Nata, for you.
Yes.
All right, I go with Pittsburgh at home. Again, Ottawa Senator, 4-3, Mr. Nata.
Okay. Sounds good.
Florida Panthers, Detroit Red Wings.
Interesting. Well, first of all, two teams from the Atlantic Division here as they face off in Detroit, headed to Michigan. This begins a short two-game road trip for the Panthers, and it caps off a two-game homestand for the Red Wings. It's the third and final time that these two will face off for this year, and Florida would love to grab the series win and sweep and go 3-0 against them this year because they won the two previous games that they've played. The Panthers need this win because they're, as we mentioned before, they're neck and neck with two other teams, Pittsburgh and the Islanders, to grab those last two wildcard spots. I think Florida will have no trouble securing the win as the road team. But, I do expect this one to be a little bit more high scoring. Looks like it's Bobrovsky against Husso. So, that would go against what I just said. But for some reason, I think both teams are kind of suffering from a defensive perspective. And that's where I'm thinking you're going to see a lot of goals. As a matter of fact, Florida has scored at least 4 goals in 4 straight games now, and they're averaging 5 goals per game lately. Their offense is really cooking, so they should have no trouble when they play against a weaker defensive team in Detroit, who's given up 3.13 goals per game and ranks them 11th worst in the entire NHL. So the 4th best offense in Florida will likely surpass this margin of 3.5 goals per game average and fill the net in. And if you look at the last 10 games, Florida has gone 9-1-0 against Detroit. So I'm going to go with Florida to win this one by a score of 5-3.
5-3?
Yes.
All right. You nailed it, Mr. Antap. That's exactly what I said for that one. We want to welcome William McClary is on the house. Welcome back, Mr.
Welcome, William.
Thanks to be with the Hockey Nation Live show. Thanks for all the like we got so far. 5-3, Mr. Antap. We all both agree with that one there. Game number 3 of the night, the Canada Avalanche owes the Chicago Blackhawks. It is what it is.
We have Stalock is confirmed. Georgiev, I believe, is probable for this game. The Avalanche have been probably one of the hottest teams in the league lately. They've won 5 straight games heading into tonight's action against the Blackhawks. This is bad news for the Blackhawks, who have probably been one of the worst teams this season, and they let go of several key pieces at the trade deadline time. But you know what? To their credit, they haven't really given up. They've been playing some decent games, and I think a lot of it is due to the play of Stalock. I think he's been quite impressive for me. He's kept them in a lot of the matches. But these two teams are quite opposite. I think Colorado is a much deeper team, and it forms for quite a mismatch here. Colorado, who has a record of 40, 22, and 6, have been dealt with some key injuries all year long. I mean, they still don't have Landeskog that's come back all year, but at different stages they've had some key injuries. But they've managed to to sail those rough waters throughout the course of the year, and now they're bidding to try to win the division on top of all of this, which it speaks volumes to the team. I know that perhaps they're not as deep as they were last year, but they're definitely as talented. And as long as they can stay healthy, they're going to be a dangerous team to deal with. If you look at the last 10 games that Colorado and Chicago have faced off in, Colorado has gone 8-2. So I don't think this will be much different. I took the Colorado Avalanche to win this one by a margin of 5-2.
5-2, Mr. Tap. I did almost same like you, but 5-1.
5-1, okay. Alrighty.
Yeah, 5-1, Mr. Tap for that one over there. The Ottawa Senators announced today, Mr. Tap, a couple of minutes ago, they going to be a new goalie tonight, Mr. Tap.
Oh, really? So no Silver?
Dylan Ferguson, Mr. Tap, is going to be the goalie for the Ottawa Senators tonight.
Okay, that's interesting.
He was drafted by the Dallas Stars 2017, 7th round. He was straight to the Vegas Golden Knight, and then he was trade to the Toronto Maple Leafs last year. Then he got trade now with Ottawa Senators, and that's what happened with Dylan. About him, Dylan Ferguson.
I might have to change my pick. I thought Sogert was in the Nets here.
King of Gamer is in the house, Mr. Tap. Welcome back, Mr. King of Gamer.
Welcome, King. You know what, Coach? I think I'll go back. I think I'll go back and change that one. I don't know much about this new goalie. So I'll take Pittsburgh by a margin of 4-3 then.
4-3 for Pittsburgh. Yeah, other people in the chat, he said, Mr. Tap, you cannot change your pick. It's too late now. So I just want to let you know what was going on. I told them before that, I said I will not tell to Mr. Tap you have a new goalie.
Wait, I'm ENORTAP here. I'm changing. That's it. That's final.
So Pittsburgh 4-3 like I did, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, sound good to me.
I just
about that. And then if you lose like I do, if I lose like we do together, but you're going to blame me because I make you, Dylan Ferguson. It was a new goalie for that one over
there. Why not?
Next pick, Mr. Tap, the Edmonton Oilers versus San Jose Sharks.
Looks like it's
Mr. Dan Asham, not the door, Mr. Tap. Dan Asham from Winnipeg is in the house.
Welcome, Dan. Yeah, welcome. Next game we have Reimer up against Campbell. It's no surprise that that the Oilers are significant favors on home ice, but there's really simply no reason to have any faith in the Sharks in my eyes. San Jose even knows that. Like, they've shipped off a number of players at the trade deadline time, most notably, of course, Timo Meier. And they made a weak team even weaker because of that. Their prospects, their whole intention is about looking at the future, obviously, and getting a high pick to go with some of the current talent that they do have left. The Ducks and the Blue Jackets who get picked on a lot, but really, San Jose is actually below the Ducks in the Central Division standings. They're only barely above the Blue Jackets for the fewest wins in the NHL, and that's not no surprise given that they're allowing the third most goals per game this season. Sharks fans couldn't ask for a worse matchup tonight, going up against Connor McDavid of the Oilers, and the Oilers are also the highest scoring team in the NHL currently. It's Connor's looking to really pad his stats, and we're trying to see if it's still possible for him to hit 70 this year, personally, I think he should be able to hit 65, but I don't see 70 in the makings. He's also looking at the elusive 150 point mark to see if he can reach it. That may be doable, but for those stats, for him to be padded like this, they have to play teams like, and they do have some. I think they have 4 games against teams the likes of San Jose, and he can't come away with just 1 or 2 points. This is the kind of game where he has to pick up 3+ goals. The last 10 games, remarkably, the Oilers have only managed to put together a 6-4 record against San Jose. But I don't think there's much here to give hope to San Jose. As a matter of fact, the only other time that they've played, Edmonton has won 7-1, and I don't think this is going to be much different. I'm going to take the Oilers to win this one by a margin of 6-1.
6-1 is that?
Yes.
I still stuck at 6-2 in that. Campbell in the net, so he's going to give 2 goals, 1 at Carlson and 1 at Couture.
And so you got 6-2? Okay.
Yep.
I got you. Okay. So
we have a question for King. What are your tiebreaker if someone's a tie on the Hockey Nation leaderboard? But if it's me with someone else, I win. But King is going to be the percentage of you winning percentage would be the first right there, Mr. King of Gamer.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be too many ties in there. Unless we're talking the fantasy. But that's
fantasy. We're going to talk about this next week. Mr. Tap, you're looking good.
Yeah, for sure. Not this week, but hopefully this next week I'll be able to make some leeway. Last game of the night, Coach. Calgary and LA, probably the game of the night. The Flames, they stroll into LA on the heels of that 6-5 overtime victory, loss to the Dallas Stars this past Saturday night. And really, they had their opportunities to win that game. You could see that the team was quite dejected after Robertson scored. They even challenged the goal, looking for goaltender interference on the play, but that was not an overturnable play, anyways. So it took a lot of air out of their sail. The Flames now need to put together a winning streak. They can't keep doing this win 1, lose 1, win 2, lose 2. They really, if they're going to grab the bull by the horns, the proverbial saying, and catch Winnipeg, I think that they're going to have to really string a number of victories together. Are they capable? Yes. Will they actually do it? Who knows? It's not a good matchup for them tonight to be playing LA in LA. LA has actually been quite solid. They're currently in second place in the Pacific, and they've been playing very well at home. Both their goaltenders have been playing extremely well, and both teams are going to be playing very hard here. It looks like it's Copley against Markstrom, and I like LA in this one by a margin of 4-2.
4-2?
Yes.
Well, we have the same score, Mr. Tap. 4-2 for the Kings tonight for me too. I go with the Kings, so that's what we got about that one. For the people talking in the chat, King 712, last 10, Flame, and the Trouble. We have a couple of great information there. Captain Kirk talk, William McCleary talk about the Flame, everything like that. Looking good here, Mr. Tap, looking great. Let's go back at the beginning of the show. We have a couple of more minutes, but I want to mention to you, Mr. Tap, I did a video, after the news today. If you have a chance watching this, I consider Lane Hudson the next Brent Leach in NHL. Mr. Tap, he has 47 points in the beginning of the season. Hudson, that equals the same number of the the most point per any defenseman as a freshman in NCAA, and he did it also with less one game versus Brent Leach. You know what happened with Brent Leach, one of the best defensemen in the NHL for the New York Rangers, and that's what happening about this, Mr. Tap. And then tonight we are back at 9 o'clock. I'm back at 9 o'clock talking about Denis Kurinov, Mr. Tap. Tonight, do you keep Denis Kurinov or not? This is the subject of the game tonight at 9 o'clock p.m. for the AB Nation Live Tonight Show. That's what we got on this one. For that, we'll have a couple of more minutes to talk about this, Mr. Tap. At the end of the day, what you're going to pay your attention tonight for all the game we got, 5 games, a very busy night tomorrow, 13 game on the program, and for the NHL, so you can see we're almost at the end of the year, by the way. You have a surprise, Mr. Tap, by question. Well, Anatap will make a surprise about on the app branch, Mr. Tap.
I have already. I've been on a couple times.
Yeah, we've been there for a couple of times, for sure. And then we want to be sure, Mr. Tap. I think I have something else. I try to get if I have this one. Oh yeah, Mr. Tap. Do you need a player with a Stanley Cup ring, one building a contender?
Do you need? Sorry, say that again. Do you need a?
Do you need a player with a Stanley Cup ring, when you're building a contender?
Not when you're building a contender. You don't necessarily need that generational player. You just need a good solid team. I don't think that. Unfortunately, there's some excellent players that are not going to see a Stanley Cup in their lifetime. It's unfortunate, but it does happen. Some of the generational players have had the fortune of seeing it, like talking about guys like Crosby, and I think at some point McDavid will as well. Ovechkin has, Lemieux, of course, Gretzky. Like those guys obviously went through their phase, but I don't think per se you need that kind of a player to be a contender. It definitely helps. Don't get me wrong, but I think it's one of those things that it'll help you win a cup, but you don't need to have that person to be a contender.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I'm just watching again the goal of Red Pitlick. Here happening, Mr. Tap. Last year, Colorado have 2 players. The year before, Tampa Bay 18. Tampa Bay, they won the first double, the first cup, 1. St. Louis 1. Washington 1. Pittsburgh 18. But when he won the first time, back-to-back, 6. Chicago won the third at 16 players. Los Angeles second at 16 players. Chicago won the second of the 3 at 9 players, contender players. So what he showed to me, like at least you need one of them to be a part, to been there before. They know exactly how this works, a Stanley Cup, everything like that. That's what the result of the last 10 years. I can go all the way like that with that thing. I think I read somewhere, you have to go all the way to 1980 something before you find a team with no winner of the Stanley Cup and their roster. So really interesting about that. I just want to share this with you. That information we got, Mr. Tap, about the contender in NHL. That's we got, Mr. Tap. Very quick show tonight. We already have. And then before we leave, we want to ask you, like we do at the end, Mr. Tap, what pay you attention tonight?
Well, the biggest thing, obviously, is the LA Calgary game. It has huge implications for Calgary in terms of chasing that wild card. It has implications for LA because they're trying to possibly win the division and continue their streak. The Edmonton game, for purposes of chasing stats and and McDavid, that's going to hold a very good significance. And the other wild card game as well. Both Pittsburgh and Florida are chasing a spot against each other, looks like, for the most part, unless we see the Islanders falter again. So it'll be interesting to see if they can both win. Like if you get, let's say, Pittsburgh winning this and Florida losing this game, I mean that's going to be huge implications. It's like a 4-point game, even though they're not playing each other, but it makes a big difference at this stage. Every game is very important.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Then I just want to add one more thing. I think this is the debut of Zach McEwen for the Los Angeles Kings. You talk about physicality, bring a player like a big body for the playoff, Mr. Tap. I think this is a great trade they did with the Flyers to get, again, Brandon Lemieux. McEwen is bigger. He can fight. He can bring a lot. So I think it's another additional great move by Rod Blake to add this on the lineup for the preparation of the playoff. This will be important. I think the King could surprise on this conference Pacific Division for sure, Mr. Tap.
Yeah, for sure.
Super coach, Mr. ENORTAP, Rick Bengal knocked the door. Would you, second channel, be coming running in the next 2 weeks? Yes, King. By the way, I have building 2 more now. So I'm making all the logos the last 24 hours, Mr. ENORTAP. I'll come kind of the logistic problem, but I have 3. Now it's going to be 4. 1 for the travel, 1 for the Mr. ENORTAP. It's called the Short Sport Wild Moment and any sport. And the other one, I finally decided to create one. I was always thinking to do it. It's called the Greatness Inside of You, Mr. ENORTAP.
Oh, I like that. That's catchy.
Yeah, it's a little bit a motivation web channel, but with all the winner of different sport, we are working right now for that. So I'm just waiting to make a bunch of video before, and then I will rock and roll those 4 channels. So a lot of work in front of me for sure about this. Mr. Willie Snyder knocked the door, Mr. ENORTAP, before we leave.
Hey, Willie. Welcome aboard.
Like I said, Mr. ENORTAP will be back at 9 o'clock tonight for another great show of the Ab Nation live show. That will happening tonight. Of course, I will invite everybody to join me live. We had a great show last night, Mr. ENORTAP, with you. We get another 600 people last night, so it was pretty good to do that for that one over there. And then ask you what happening to the Jets last night.
Well, they outplayed. They outplayed St. Louis, but unfortunately, they ended up being on the short end of the stick. Hellebuck did not have one of his better games. But don't worry, Winnipeg will be there. Trust me.
They would be there. But Colorado or Vegas, I'm not sure they can go there. But they have a goaltender. Okay. You never know when you have a goaltender. Everything could happen, Mr. ENORTAP. So here we go. Let's conclude, guys. Mr. ENORTAP, another great show, the warm-up show. Before we leave, we want to tell everybody, you are awesome. You are amazing. You are the best. And remember, you have greatness inside of you. Here we go. We have greatness inside of you. An amazing, great first show of the week, Mr. ENORTAP, on the Monday, March 20, 2023. Until the next time, tomorrow night, 6 p.m., we'll be back together. Don't forget, guys, to click on the like, subscribe to the organization show, leave us a comment. Be well, be healthy. Find a way not only dominate your day, but find a way to dominate the first half of what, Mr. ENORTAP?
You're 2023.
You did it again. Have an amazing, great night, Mr. ENORTAP. I will see you a little bit later.
Good night, Hockey Nation. Good night, Coach.